The snowman started with one single scene, a very filmic scene. I thought of this woman who comes home from work and she walks into the kitchen where her husband and her son is making dinner for her. Where, you know, one big happy family, and she's saying that, also nice, you're making dinner for me, and also what a nice snowman you built in the garden. And they freeze and they turn to her and they say, what snowman? And so she says, there's this big snowman in the garden. And they walk into the living room and they look through the window at this huge snowman. And the father says that, okay, it's probably one of the two of the boys from the neighbor who's been in our garden. And so the parents, they walk away, but the boy is still staring at the snowman because he realizes that the snowman is staring back at the house into their living room. And he gets a feeling that it's turned the wrong way, that the snowman should look, you know, away from the house. But this snowman is standing a little bit too close to the house, staring into the living room, and that there's sort of an omen in that. And it is. The snowman, I didn't plan as a horror story, and it's still a crime story, but it got more horror in it than any of my other books. It sort of followed from the theme of a snowman. It's a very traditional way of creating horror. Is to use something that is very close to you, that seems very cozy, like a doll or a toy. And when you put a snowman in a context that is a little bit different, it suddenly becomes very scary. And that's what happens with this snowman that shows up at various scenes of a murder. And also you can hear the voice of the killer, but you can't see his face, of course. And he's using a tool as a weapon, a tool that many people think they use in real life, and I don't know, maybe they do, but it's a sort of an instrument that you use for cutting up dead calves in the stomach of the mother cow, and he uses this for killing people, and all these elements together, they create this feeling of a horror story, and it's certainly is my most scary story, I think. I think what I really like about the snowman is that it's a story that people tend to think of as a real horror story. But if you look at it closely, there's almost no blood in it. There aren't any, you know, detailed descriptions of blood and gore. But when you finish the book, you have the feeling that it's been something terrible has been going on all the time. But if you look closely at it, it's very constrained. It's just sort of giving you ideas of what may have happened. I think that both in Norway and abroad, the snowman has done great things for me. It's probably one of my best novels, but also I think that there are some things that I can't put my finger on in this novel that makes people really relate to the main character, but also that scares the shit out of them, because I've got so many letters and people coming up to me and say that they couldn't sleep reading The Snowman. I don't know if I meant it to be that scary, but whenever I write a novel, and also when writing The Snowman, I use my own fear, especially as a kid, you know, going down into the cellar and my fear of the dark when my mother had turned the light out. I think I probably used those emotions when writing these books and putting myself in the head of the victims or the people, even Harry being scared in this book. So I think that the descriptions of fear are very raw and personal for me in these books, and it's very interesting as a writer to see that if you use something from your own life, it shows in the text, and people they can pick that up, they can feel that, I think. Hopefully, I have developed as a writer, and Snowman is a book that came after some very big commercial successes, and it sort of gave me the room as a writer and an artist to try to develop my craft and to be more playful and experiment with the things that you know, I sort of haven't dared to do because I've always been careful not to lose track of the story and what's going on. There was a very wise writer that said that anything that's in a story that doesn't drive the story forward, you should cut out. And I have been very careful to do that. You know, I spend probably just as much time taking things out as I do putting things in. Because writing, it's quite easy for me. I mean, you can just put me in front of a typewriter and I can write for 2 days. So what I'm doing now is that I'm spending 1 day writing and 1 day taking away things. But I think in The Snowman, there are things that doesn't seem to have anything to do with the story, but you just have to be a little patient, and finally you will see what function that detail have in the story.